Can you make what I thought was a nearly perfect iron even better? Well, TaylorMade claim they've done just that. Two years ago, TaylorMade brought out these, the P790s. And when I reviewed them, I absolutely loved them. Thought they were easy to hit. I thought they looked fantastic. Thought they felt great. And in fact, I rated them my #1 iron in 2018. What I underestimated at first was the fact that so many different ability levels were going to use these irons. In the last couple of years, these irons have gone into the bags of scratch handicap golfers to high handicappers, and that's rare for an iron. The first time really successfully an iron has come out in a hollow head design filled with foam and has worked to such a level. You guys seem to absolutely love them. And because of those factors, this has been a really successful iron. According to TaylorMade, this has been their best-selling iron for the last couple of years. So what do they do now? Well, they bring out a revamped version. This is the P790 for 2019. So the first thing I want to highlight is the fact that they've kept the same name. They've kept the name of the P790, which is so unlike TaylorMade. In fact, it's unlike a lot of brands. And I actually really like the fact they've done that. I like the fact they've kept it as the P790. It gives so many benefits. The fact that it's already a trusted club. People like this club already. It gives validation because it kind of works. The last version worked great, and it almost gives a level of customer satisfaction. They know that it's just a newer version, it's just a revamped version. I praise them for that, I do. And the name in itself is actually the blade length. The 790 actually is the measurement of the blade length, so it doesn't massively need to change unless that blade length particularly changes. And if you look closely, it's actually quite difficult between the two versions to see much of a difference. There's very subtle changes. The new version has a more chromed bottom edge, the sole of the club, and where it used to say TaylorMade in big writing, it now just has the TaylorMade logo. Very, very subtle. And TaylorMade say they have tweaked this version. The version now, the 2019 version, has a 7% thinner face to give more ball speed. That's what they say. 15% heavier tungsten in the bottom of the golf club to make the ball go higher. And that's pretty much it. Apart from a different finish, they're the only two big technical differences for this new version. And truth be told, I don't want it to change. I loved the last model. I don't particularly want this golf club to change whatsoever, so I'm glad they've not changed it too much. I don't want it to go further, I don't want it to feel different, I don't want it to even look that different. And give it to TaylorMade, they don't. So when I tested it, I kind of fell in love all over again with the new versions. They were easy to hit, the distance was the same because the lofts were identical. I hit them high up into the sky, as you would imagine. Workability was solid and the looks was fantastic. Actually, possibly, but it might just be because they're newer, I actually probably prefer the look of this now shiny chrome bottom. When it comes down to feel and sound, again, I didn't want that to change too much because that was one of the big standout features from the first model. And again, I saw zero difference. I saw no difference whatsoever between the two models. Right down it. So a lot of you might be asking, and what is different? What separates the old version to the new version? Well, you've got to look quite closely, certainly for one bit of evidence. The first bit is the length of club. Now, when I got them sent to me, they were in my spec, so I didn't have them longer than the normal version or the original versions. But when you actually look at the spec, and this is quite sly from TaylorMade, across the board, the irons are 0.25 inches longer in shaft length. So the steel shaft now is the same length as the graphite shaft. And that's a sneaky little ploy, because if you're using a slightly longer shaft, there's likeliness you're going to be picking up clubhead speed. It might only be tiny amounts of clubhead speed, but that could generate more ball speed to hit the ball further. It's not the fact that the technology has changed that much, it's just the fact you might be swinging them faster. If you go for a fitting and you have the originals, make sure you measure them up against the new version. And it's, to be fair, it's a tip in general. If you're gonna go for a fitting and you're hitting a certain iron longer, make sure it's the same length or as close to your original iron that you're testing it against. Now there is one huge difference between the 2017 model and the 2019 model. The RRP for these when they first came out was £1,049. The new version are coming out at RRP of £1,299. That is an increase of 24%. Now considering I almost saw no measurable differences between the two sets, that is a huge increase in price. So for me, if you've got the old ones you love in life, you don't particularly need to upgrade to the new ones unless you really want to. But the performance differences, you're not going to see any performance differences. I'd be surprised if you did. But for a 24% increase, I just think that's unfair. For the fact that these irons are exactly the same as the old version, just a little bit shinier, that price increase is vast. So just to be clear, I have no issue at all with TaylorMade bringing out a new version of these. In fact, I think it's a great move. The fact that the P790 has been so successful, for them to bring out a revamped version is perfect. What I disagree with, from what I found, 0% difference in performance is now going to cost you 24% more in price. And I don't think that's fair. So in conclusion, these are a great iron. I fell in love all over again. They're easy to hit and they suit such a wide variety of golfers. But my tip would be to try and pick up the old set. You can still find them online and you will save some money. Thanks for watching guys, stay tuned, lots more to come, and we'll see you next time.